Hello everyone, this is Panawesome and this is another cloud workshop. So the other two cloud workshops that you can find on our YouTube channel are based on cloud challenges that are built on AWS services by Amazon, the Amazon Web Services. For this one, we are going to explore a new territory, and this is the Microsoft Azure, which is the cloud solution by Microsoft. So if you try to look around, the current most famous web providers, the big three of the field, is AWS, Microsoft Azure, and the Google Cloud. But before starting and diving deep in the theory, it's nice, I think, to try to solve the challenge as if it was any other type of challenge, like a normal box, and see what we can learn. So I'm moving away from my notes and let's start with the challenge. So the first thing that we do quite often is that we run an nmap. So I run an nmap on the IP that was given to me with the safe scripts and the subversion flags for nmap. And I found some open ports. The first is an SSH port. Okay, we do not care. The other one is a web port that I try to visit, which seems to be a login page. There is a port 10,000, which is open for something called Azure Blob. There is the port 10,001, which is the Azure queue. And if we go a little more down, we see that the port 10,002 is also open with something that is called an Azurite table. So we have no idea what Azurite is for this example. So let's say we try to Google what it is. And it seems to be a soft deep blue copper mineral produced by weathering of copper ore deposits. That's probably not it. So let's add the word cloud to see if we can help Google. That seems more like it. So the title is Use Azurite Emulator for Local Azure Storage Development. Let's see. Do we see an easy answer? Okay, I will take this one. So the Azurite open source emulator provides a free local environment for testing your Azure Blob, queue storage, and table storage applications. So for this example, we're gonna treat Azurite as if it was Azure. So let's see, what else? We have a login page. This will never work, but it's okay. It's never too bad to try. We see a message saying that we're connecting to enchanted blob core, which does not remind us of something. So let's see. Let's go back to the page. We see the same message again. And here we go. So let's see the source of the web page to see if we can find something interesting. Okay, it seems to load the style sheets from something called Enchanted Blob Core. So if you see it again, it looks very ugly. So that makes kind of sense because it's loading the CSS, the style sheet, so from some place that we probably do not have access to. So if we try, let's not try to read this yet. Let's copy this and open it in a new unsaved document. Let's see. It tries to reach a server on the port 10,000. We already saw port 10,000. This is some folder structure. And these are some strange things that currently we do not know what they are. but we see a URL, we see an open port, we saw the blob service running before, so it's not too crazy to assume that this should be the name of the server with the IP that we found. So the best option is to add them on our host file. As you see, I tried to solve this before. So you need to be a super user to change your host file. So let's try to add what we found. In case you do not know, the syntax is just the IP followed. Let me find the IP. Followed by the name of the URL that you're trying to. What am I? There it is. Let's save it. And let's try to load the page once more and see if it still looks ugly. Okay, since we added this, we're not getting the timeouts, so it loads much quicker. So it looks prettier. But we saw some things that we did not know what they were. And we could try to add try to Google for all these different variables that we see, and we would reach a point where we would be introduced to the concept of a SAS token. But let's go over what we have seen already. We see the name blob go around. So blob stands for binary large object, and it's a collection of data of an arbitrary size. So the main advantages of it is that they do not have to follow a given format, and it's a very scalable solution. So you can find them used in cloud applications. Almost everything that I added in this presentation, it's just copy paste from the Learn Microsoft website. And if you try to Google whatever, how to do something Azure, the chances are the first result is going to be from that website, and it's a great resource to find information about the Azure. So it also lists a number of different use cases that you maybe want to use blob storage. So serving images, like it does with the background image in our example, documents, the CSS file, storing files, writing log files, whatever. You can search for yourself and see what this blob storage is. We also saw the very strange string thing. So what is this? This is a SAS token. So the SAS token is generated on the client side, and what it is a single string to give you access to certain stuff. So the main reason that it is being used is to give access to a client application to some of the storage, but not give it complete access over it. So you can try to Google what a SAS token is, but it's somewhat of like a username and a password, not exactly. But for this example, we're just going to copy and paste it and keep using it to see what we can get. By using this SAS token, we have some kind of access to the blob storage. So let's go back to our VM. And okay, we seem to have access to a blob storage. And we want to see what we can access there. So let's try to see. Let's try to see, can we find something? Okay, as I told you, if you try to Google whatever Azure, Probably you get a learn.microsoft.com article. So right here, we find an example of how to use this. So this is the first part is the URL. I hope you can see this. The first part is just your URL, the name of the container, and then you add these two variables. And since we are going to use a SAS token, we are probably going to add this token as well. So we should be able to access it over web by using REST. So let's try to grab this. Let's see. I guess we should also add the port. What else? Let's add the new things that we found. First of all, it is useful to have this as well. So we know that we have to have the port 10,000 and the container name is enchanted. So add this, add enchanted. Okay, I have already done this. Don't spoil it. And add this that we find from the Microsoft website. And also add the token. I have already been there before. So right now we get an XML file back, and it has all the contents of this blob storage. So there is the style sheet, for example. There is the background image, but there is another thing. There seems to be a dev folder and a Python file. So we can try to access this as well. So let's try to see what we keep from our URL. So we do not want the container and the list parameters. We just want the SAS token, and we do not want enchanted. We want this thing, enchanted, SAS dev, SAS app.python. That should work. It didn't work. Okay, I left this. So I have already downloaded it, but let's download it someplace else. And let's see what we can find inside this Python file. So right at the beginning, we see a new SAS token. Okay, we do not see it immediately, but if you put them side by side, you will see that this is different. But this does not refer to a blob service. This refers to something else called the table service. And we saw something very similar run in our nmap. So there seems to be something about tables running on port 10,002. So what could this be? Let's go back to our notes to see what I found by Googling around. So the Azure Table Storage is actually the database running behind Microsoft Azure. As is quite often the case with cloud application, it is a NoSQL database, and the reason that a lot of cloud solutions use NoSQL is because it is much more easily scalable. It can store a large amount of data. It's very easy to scale. It is structured, but it is less strict compared to traditional SQL databases. And let me find, and almost all of this is copy paste, I say once again, from the Microsoft website. So let me hide my face to show you something else that I found on the Microsoft website. So what I found is that you are able to access the Azure table via URL. So the default format for it is the name.table.core.windows.net. It seems very similar to what we did already with blob. Then / the name of the table. We must see if we can access the name of the table. So let's go back to our VM and see if we can find this information that we found by reading the documentation on the Microsoft website. So if we go to the Python file, so it seems that we have the name of the table, and this is users. So we can try to add on our host file the URL format that we found on the Microsoft website. So let's go back to our host file. And if you don't remember, it's very easy. It's the same thing, but instead of blob, now it is table. So we have the same thing again. Since it's the same IP, I can be on the same row. And we can try to access the web page. So what we saw on the Microsoft article is that we have to visit this URL. In our example, you have to also specify the port. Then we have to add the table name, which is users, followed by the delimiter. Where am I? Where is it? There it is. Followed by our new source token. Come on. I misspelled HTTP. That's a new one. HTTP is not a thing, actually. So if we try to go there, we get an error message says that the atom format is not supported. And let's say we do not know what this is. I do not know what this is. So let's try to just Google this as well. We're just searching around. So we see a Microsoft Community Hub thing. We see Stack Overflow, which is always nice. So we will have to just try to go through all the answers and see what is similar to what we search for. I'm a little impatient and go directly on the answers. This seems like a long answer, but what it says is that we should add some headers according to this guy. So we can try to do what he suggests. So let's send the same request, where was it? Through our verb to change the headers in the repeater. Where is it? Browse. So let's go to repeater, and so let's see what this guy on Stack Overflow suggested. We have to change the accept header to this. Let's try just changing this as a beginning. And see if we get another type of result. Let's see what it was. Oh no, I sent the wrong request. Okay, this is what we want. This is the request that we wanted. I always do mistakes in videos like this, but it's okay. So let's try this. And it seems that, as always, the first answer in Stack Overflow worked. So we have a dump of the database. It says the password of the user. We can try to crack this. Since it's 75, we can try to find which user we want to try, but this seems like a nice user. His name is Flag, and here's the flag. So this was the whole of the challenge. I think it stands as an easy challenge. It was a great opportunity to start Googling whatever you found and keep learning new things about Microsoft Azure and huge products like Azure, AWS, the Google Cloud. We always have a lot of documentation and a great community online. So next time you find a cloud challenge, especially if it is an easy one, don't feel intimidated by it. If this was called like a normal full POM box, you would probably be able to solve it just because you were not afraid of it. So that was it for these workshops, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow in our CTF. Goodbye, guys.